Oh my god, this is my second time doing this because I had lipstick on my teeth when I first did this, so we're starting over. Hey bookaholics, it's Isabel and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be following in the same book steps as other booktubers and I'm going to be tier ranking all the book series I have read. I am going to be doing only book series that I have read 2 or more books. So I have 50 series here. A lot of these I read before my Booktube days, so I have not talked about them on this channel before. Some of them I don't really remember what happens, I just remember a sort of premise and a sort of idea of how I felt about it. So we're gonna see how this tier ranking goes, but I'm kind of excited because some of these books I have not thought about in such a long time. So let's just get right into it. So let me just talk about my tier ranking here. The first tier ranking I have here is my absolute fave. So these are the book series that I would die for, that are just my absolute favorites. And then my next tier is I enjoyed it. So book series, I had fun with it. I enjoyed reading it. Next one is trashy and I love it, so obviously pretty self-explanatory. They're trashy book series, but I had so much fun with it and I loved it. Next here is meh, just okay. So these would be series that I don't really remember too much about it. They weren't all that memorable or they were honestly just okay. Next one is didn't care for it. So obviously these are book series that I just didn't care for. Some of the ones that are going in here, they'd be ones that I read a long time ago and I enjoyed it, but looking back, I know I wouldn't enjoy it. And then the last tier is what was I thinking? So these are books that I either really enjoyed and honestly I don't understand why anymore, or they're ones that I bought like every single book in the series and I read them and I have no idea how I did it. Let's just get right into it. So the first book series I have here is Bloodlines. So I know some people would consider this probably trashy, and honestly it probably is, but I still just really enjoyed it, and I just don't consider it like trashy in the same sense as the other books I'm going to be putting in the trashy section. So it's definitely going in I enjoyed it because honestly it's just such a fun series. So yeah. City of Bones. So back in the day I think this would probably end up going in I enjoyed it or my absolute faves, but now it's going in meh, just okay, because I honestly have moved away from Cassandra Clare. I don't enjoy her books as much as I used to, and it's honestly a just okay series. To All the Boys I Loved Before. So this one, I think I would put it in I enjoyed it, because I did enjoy this series. I definitely enjoyed the first one and the third one a lot more than the middle one. Second one, I think. Honestly, I don't really. Honestly, like I remember what happens in those books, but at the same time, I don't remember what happens. Like, if that makes sense at all, but I know I really did enjoy it, so that's where it's going. Reason to Breathe. So this one was a long time ago. It was back in my ebook days where I could not buy books except on my e-reader. So this was back in my high school days, and I know the first book was a lot better and like it dealt with a lot of serious issues. The second and third book honestly just seemed really pointless. I don't know why it was a series, so I think I'm gonna put it in meh, just okay. Angel Burn. I don't know where I want to put this one, honestly. This is definitely like a trashy book, like definitely. But I've only read the first 2 books and I know I enjoyed them, and I did buy the third book, but I didn't read it because I didn't remember what happened in the first 2 books and I didn't honestly want to reread them. So I don't know where I want to put this. I think I might put it in meh, just okay, because all I remember about it is the fact that the angels in here are evil. And in the second book, I think they go on a road trip. Like, that's all I remember. So, yeah. Cinder. So, I think I'm gonna put it in I enjoyed it. It could go in my absolute faves, but honestly, it's just not quite there. I really did enjoy this series. I had such a fun time, and Marissa Meyer really integrated the fairy tales in this world so well, but I just enjoyed it. It wasn't one of my absolute faves. Like, it takes a lot for books to be my absolute faves. Next one, Crash by Nicole Williams. Oh my god, what was I thinking? This series. Wow. I think it was like a new adult series, and like those are definitely hit or miss, and this one was a miss. I don't know how I got through all 3 books. Honestly, I have no idea, and like the relationships were so unhealthy, so yeah. Truly Devious. I don't know if I want to put this in meh, just okay, or if I want to put it I enjoyed it, because like I think once I get through all the books, it might be better because the mystery will be solved. But because I've only read the first 2 books, I still don't know what the hell is going on in this series because nothing's really revealed in either the first or the second book. The first book was definitely better because there's some background, but the second book, I think I'm gonna put in just okay because I feel like I have more passion about it than I thought I did. Divergent. I don't know if I want to put this one in what was I thinking or didn't care for it. I think I'm gonna put it in didn't care for it because I am glad that I read it. Although I wish I didn't spend that money on it, honestly, but I am glad that I read it because I did enjoy the first book and I'm glad I'm able to like have opinions on it. So yeah, I think it's just gonna be I didn't care for it because honestly I didn't. The third book I didn't care for. The first book was better. The second book, I honestly don't even remember what happens in that one. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. This one, honestly, I probably read it way too young, but I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I don't think I would read it again because it is so intense, but I did enjoy that book. Eternal Eden. So this one, again, was a part of my ebook days, and I honestly cannot remember what it is about. I read a synopsis for it and it's like it deals with star-crossed lovers, and I think it is a new adult series. So it's going in what was I thinking, because honestly, what was I thinking? Like I feel like this was probably one of those books that was like free. Like one of those books that they give the first book in the series free, and then back in those days I had to finish it. The next one, Elixir by Hilary Duff. This one, I think I'm just gonna put it in didn't care for it. It wasn't quite in the same sense as what was I thinking because honestly, I do know what I was thinking. It was Hilary Duff. I had to read it, but it's not very good writing. Like it was very, very simple writing, and it was very predictable, and it followed the same tropes, so you know, didn't care for it. Evermore. So this one is a bit of a hard one for me because I know I wouldn't ever read this again, but I know I had such a fun time reading it back in the day. So this one's definitely going in trash, and I love it because honestly, I don't remember what happens in it. I know it deals with immortals and like something happens and like they go into this new world and like a bunch of stuff happens. I don't even remember what happens, but like I had such a fun time with it. So yeah, it's going in there. Existence by Abby Glines. So this one, oh my god. Okay, so this one's definitely going into trashy, and I love it because honestly, I love this series so much. It's one of those guilty pleasures because I know it's trashy. It was not a very good book, but I loved it when I read it, and I even made a book trailer and put it on YouTube like a very long time ago on a separate YouTube than I have now because I don't want anyone to know that I made that. I know I really enjoyed that one. Like I had such a fun time with it, even though I know it's trashy and so terrible. I still had so much fun with it. So yeah. Forbidden Game by L.J. Smith. So L.J. Smith is the trashy writer. Like she knows how to write some trash, and I loved it. Honestly, this is such a fun series to read, and I just had such a fun time with it. So that's where that's going. The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. So I think all Rick Riordans are all going in I enjoyed it because honestly his books are just so much fun to read and they're just so enjoyable. Okay, the House of Night series. Honestly, this one's definitely going what was I thinking because I spent so much money on these books. Like they're like $20 a piece and I bought 11 of the series. Didn't finish it because I started to like realize that they were absolute trash and not the good kind of trash. I spent like, what's 20 times 11? I can't think of what 20 times 11 is right now. Like 20 times 10 is 200. So I spent like $220 on those, and I feel very sad because I could use that $220 right now. So The Hunger Games. I don't know if I want to put The Hunger Games in I enjoyed it or my absolute faves. Cause like, I haven't read it for a while, but I know I absolutely loved it back in the day. And I don't know how I'd feel about it if I reread it, but I think I'm gonna put in my absolute faves. because honestly, it was one of those books that really just it defines dystopian right now. Like, it defines our dystopian in our generation. It's definitely in my absolute faves, I think. Hush Hush. So this one is definitely going in trashy, and I love it because honestly, this was such a fun series, even though it was absolute trash. Okay, Between the Lines. So this one had 4 books in the series. 2 first books were absolute trash. The second 2 books were a little bit better, but like, honestly, I cannot believe I got through all 4. Like, what was I thinking? Again, new adult book because they're all freaking trash. So Intertwined. So this book was a hot minute ago, and there's supposed to be 4 books in the series, and then the 4th book went on hiatus, and now the author isn't even writing it anymore. Like, that's how bad the 3rd book was. Like, holy crap. I don't know if I want to put in What Was I Thinking or Didn't Care for It, because honestly, I did like the 1st book. I did enjoy that, and it was pretty unique concept. So I think I'm just going to put it in Didn't Care for It, because honestly that 3rd book just ruined it, and I don't even remember what happened in the 2nd book. So yeah. The Iron King. So this one was also a very long time ago that I read it. I think I'm going to put it in meh, just okay, because I know I did enjoy it at the time, but I don't really remember anything that happened in it. I just know it involves Faye. And there was one character who I absolutely loved, and I think his name was Leaf or something. I don't honestly remember, but like, he is my favorite. So that's all I really remember, and I don't remember anything else. 13 to Life. This one is going in What Was I Thinking? Because I remember when I read this and I was like, I want to buy all the rest of the series, and I'm so glad I didn't, because honestly, what was I thinking? They were so bad. Magnus Chase. So again, Rick Riordan, he's the bomb at making such fun books, so yeah. Lady Midnight. So this one, I feel like if I was ranking it when I read the 1st book, I would probably rank it higher, but I read the 2nd book, and although I was I loved it when I read it, but as I've been getting further and further away from Cassandra Clare, her series are just meh. They're just okay. Like, they're nothing, I don't find there's anything all that special about them, in my opinion. I know a lot of people love them, and I respect that, but they're just not for me anymore, unfortunately. Morganville Vampires. This one is definitely going in trashy, and I love it because this series was so much fun. And honestly, I haven't finished the series because there's so many books, but they were just so enjoyable and I loved it. So yeah. My Lady Jane. So this one, if it was just My Lady Jane, it would definitely go in my absolute faves because it was so funny and I absolutely loved it. But the 2nd book just didn't quite hit the same mark as the 1st book, and although it was fine, it was just not as funny as the 1st book and just wasn't as enjoyable. So it just going in, I enjoyed it. Chronicles Narnia. This one's just going meh, just okay, because it honestly is just a meh book series. I didn't finish it, I just read the first 2 books. It just wasn't for me, I don't think. Maybe if I read it when I was younger, it'd be better. Need. I did not need this book series in my life. Honestly, can't believe I got through all 4, and I can't believe I got through the 4th book. Oh my god, the 4th book was so bad. Okay, Night World by L.J. Smith. Again, trashy, and I love it because they're so trashy that they're so perfect. I don't know why I'm being weird. Obsidian. This one's going in What Was I Thinking? Because I read all 4 books, and I did enjoy it, but like, as I'm looking back, it's like, wow. It was pretty long ago, but at the same time, it was like in my university days when I read them, so like, what was I thinking? Carry On. So this one is going in, I enjoyed it. I think if it was just Carry On, it would definitely be my absolute faves because I just love that book. But the 2nd book, it was still enjoyable, but it just wasn't the same par as Carry On. Like, it just wasn't. The Infernal Devices. So I think this might be the only exception for Cassandra Clare because this one's going in, I enjoyed it. I honestly did enjoy this series. I think the characterization was just developed a lot more, and honestly, I just love Tessa and Will and Jem. I just loved all 3 characters. The Percy Jackson series. So again, Rick Riordan, you are going in, I enjoyed it because you are awesome. Harry Potter. So for the Harry Potter series in general, my absolute faves. For J.K. Rowling, I've lost a lot of respect for her, but her books are still top notch. Renegades. This one's also going my absolute faves. That should be no surprise to anyone who's been on my channel for a while. No surprise at all, because honestly, even though the third book wasn't what I was expecting, I still really love this series. Okay, Royally Jacked. So this was actually the first book series I ever read. Back in elementary school, we were required to pick a book, so I picked Royally Jacked, and I absolutely loved it. So I read the second and the third book in that series, and it was so much fun. Oh my god, I loved it so much. So I think this one's definitely going into I enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it when I was young, and I still think about it sometimes, and I just smile because it's so nostalgic, and I just love it. Like, even just looking at the cover, I'm just like, my childhood. Nightshade. This one I'm gonna put in meh, just okay, because it was just a meh book. It's definitely trashy, but I just didn't love it. It was okay. Significance. So this is another one that's going in what was I thinking, because what the fuck was I thinking? I think this was actually being like possibly made into a movie. I don't think it was actually made into a movie, because like, why? Shiver. This one's going into meh, just okay, because I can. Honestly, one of the reasons is because I don't honestly remember what happens in this book. I believe it involves a werewolf. I'm pretty sure, but all I really remember about this is that the main boy character plays a guitar and like he plays a song for her. Like, that's all I remember about this whole book. Like, that's it. Strange Angels. It's not in What Was I Thinking, because I kind of do know what was I thinking when I picked this one up, so I think I'm gonna put it in didn't care for it. It did have a unique concept, but maybe I'd put it in meh, just okay, because I honestly don't remember if I didn't even care for it. I honestly don't remember what happened in this book. I just know that it was a more unique concept, and I like that. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it in meh, just okay. Makes me feel a little better. This Savage Song. So this one, I think I'm gonna put in I enjoyed it. It's definitely not in the same par as some of the ones on this tier, but it's not like a meh, just okay book either. So I think that's where it's gonna go. A Court of Thorns and Roses. Honestly, I don't know if I want to put this in meh, just okay, or didn't care for it, because honestly, like, I know I did enjoy the first book when I read it back in 2017, but I just read the second book, and oh my god. I honestly don't know why this series is so popular and why everyone just loves the second book. Like, I don't understand why, because it was so boring. So yeah, I feel okay with putting it didn't care for it, because honestly, I didn't. Twilight. This one is a no-brainer. This one's definitely going in trashy, and I love it, because this whole series is absolute trash. But it's so much fun as well. So I absolutely love it, and I just read Life and Death, the gender bent version of Twilight, and honestly, although it was absolute trash and like it was pretty much like a reread, like nothing really was changed, I had so much fun with it. So it's definitely going there. Uglies. I know I really did enjoy this series. Like, it was so much fun, but I honestly don't remember anything. Like, I know it involves like turning yourself pretty, and like there's like, what was there, like a, like you had to be a certain place, or you had to have certain things? I don't honestly remember anything. I don't know if I want to put it in I enjoyed it or meh, just okay. And my computer's dying, so let's just get through this really quickly. I'm really having such a hard time with this video. Oh my freaking lord, everything's just not going right. So Vampire Academy, it's going in I enjoyed it, because honestly this series is so much freaking fun and I loved it. So yeah. Dark Visions. So honestly, this is LJ Smith, and I could put it in trash and I love it, but honestly, I don't remember anything that happens in this book. Like, I have no recollection of what happens in it. Honestly, the only thing I remember is the cover. Like, I remember holding it, I remember looking at it back on my shelves, but I honestly don't remember anything else on it. So obviously it wasn't all that memorable, so I'm just gonna put in meh, just okay. Wake. I don't know where to put this one either. I think I might put it in meh, just okay. I remember it was more of a spooky kind of book, and I remember like she dreams stuff and like is prophecy or something, but like that's all I really remember. Wither. I don't know if I want to put this in what was I thinking or didn't care for it. Like, I bought all the books in this series and I did like the concept, and I thought it was like very, very thought-provoking back in the day, but I think I'm going to put in didn't care for it, because I am glad that I read it. I just don't understand why I did. Scythe. This one is also definitely going in my absolute faves, because it is my absolute fave. That is it for this video. Oh my god, I've done this one like 4 times because things just kept not working. So like this better freaking work out. But that's my tier ranking. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree with any of my tier rankings. And subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye!